Mondo isn't the only cat who wandered away. Most cat owners know only too well about a kitty gone missing.
Cats have only been domesticated about 7,000 years, and unlike dogs, they're not really changed from their wild ancestors.
But when a cat wanders, where does he go? One couple decided to investigate this mystery.
We have the answer to the question that all cat owners want to know. They want to know, where is their cat going during the day?
To find the answer, Deirdre and Michael Cross put a camera on the collar of their cat Cooper that automatically takes a picture every 2 minutes.
I'm shocked at so much green and so many beautiful plants.
You see these pictures that Cooper comes up with. It's amazing.
Cooper's view on the world is so different than what most people see. He's changed the way that I think about my neighborhood.
Sometimes wandering in familiar confines can get a cat in trouble. Seth and Kelly Levy found this out the hard way with their cat, Gracie May. The Levys live in Florida. One day, Seth was packing for a business trip to Dallas.
I had pretty much finished packing. I left the bag a little bit open in case there were any last-minute things.
Not knowing it, Seth zipped up the bag with Gracie May inside and headed to the airport. A few hours later, Kelly came home and realized something was wrong.
She always comes right down the stairs to greet me, and this time she wasn't there.
Meanwhile, Seth and Gracie May are on their trip to Dallas.
When I got to Dallas and got off the plane, I called my wife, and she was crying, she was frantic.
When I couldn't find her, I started to panic a little bit.
Here's where you think the story will have a happy ending. Seth checks into his hotel, Gracie May pops out of the bag, they all live happily ever after, right? Wrong. A guy arriving at Dallas has a suitcase just like Seth's and takes it from the carousel.
My bag was nowhere to be found.
You can imagine what it was like for the guy with Seth's bag. He opens the bag he thinks is his. Not only is it the wrong bag, but a cat's inside. Gracie was wearing her tag, so the confused man was able to call a relieved Seth.
I received a phone call.
He was so surprised to find Gracie in the bag.
Luckily, Gracie May made it back home, and Seth will always check his luggage before he zips it closed. Curiosity took Gracie May on an unlikely trip, but asked the McElhaney family about their cat, Emily. This kitty's curiosity led her on an amazing journey, far beyond her Wisconsin home.
Emily is a very curious cat. We're always looking for Emily.
One day, Emily went missing and didn't come home. She'd snuck out of the house and made her way into a nearby paper factory. Emily then somehow got into a shipping container. Unknowing workers sealed her inside. As the days passed and Emily remained missing, the McElhaneys began to worry.
I really thought it was just going to be another, she's here in the neighborhood somewhere, she'll turn up.
Meanwhile, Emily was on the journey of a lifetime. The container she was in was shipped by truck to Chicago. It was then loaded into a boat that meandered through the Great Lakes and into the Atlantic. Back in Wisconsin, things looked bleak to the McElhaneys.
We had given up hope. We started to just wish that she was safe and okay and someone had made a good home for her.
Emily's ship finally made port on the French coast. She was loaded on yet another truck and reached her final destination at a factory in Nancy, France. Emily was on the road for a total of 30 days. Emily had literally nothing to eat for a full month until the workers in France unpacked her.
When they opened the container, they heard meowing, so they knew there was an animal in there.
Shocked workers found Emily's tags. Donnie took the call, informing the family of Emily's whereabouts.
And they said, in France. And I said, the country? I had lived here like 8 or 9 months. I'm thinking, France, Wisconsin?
Arrangements were made for Emily to be flown first class back to the grateful McElhaneys.
I honestly didn't get emotional until we picked her up at the airport.
Emily has traveled farther than any of us ever have or ever probably will.
Everything turned out okay in the end, but Emily is now strictly an indoor cat, and Emily won't be taking another European vacation anytime soon.
We're definitely thinking Emily got a bonus on her 9 lives because she's definitely used up as many as you can as a cat.
The American Shorthair cat is among the best mousers on Earth. 1 in 3 pounces results in a catch. In fact, records show that when the Pilgrims needed a pest control specialist aboard the Mayflower, the Shorthair got the gig.
We know that early settlers brought cats on the ships, and these were very precious.
Especially when it came to treasure hunting. During the California Gold Rush, miners paid several weeks' wages for proven rat-hunting cats. Intelligent, healthy, a great hunter. The Shorthair dates back to at least the 10th century. Romans brought the European Shorthair to the British Isles. In Britain, naturally, it became known as the British Shorthair. When its mousing prowess brought it to the New World, its name changed again. First to the domestic Shorthair, later to the American Shorthair. But here, the cat changed too. It bulked up.
We bred them to be bigger, sturdier cats.
Today, the breed is recognized by several subtle characteristics. American Shorthairs have short, pointed ears, a round, broad head, and a muscular, compact body, and naturally, short hair.
The American Shorthair actually comes in over 80 different varieties and color patterns,
including solid, tabby, tortoiseshell, and calico. A calico is a tricolored cat whose various coat colors are broken up into distinct patches. Surprisingly, calicos of any breed are almost always female.
The coat actually comes in some really interesting variations. The most common one you see is silver tabby. You see a lot of American Shorthairs in commercials because they do have that sort of everyday house cat look, but with a little extra pizzazz to it.
The American Shorthair is a very easygoing, kind of low-maintenance cat. They're not very needy. They can keep themselves amused.
But in at least one household in San Diego, humans take particular pride in attending to and amusing cats. Turns out 2 of the 9 feline inhabitants here, Gus and Stella, are a couple of very lucky American Shorthairs. This is the Cat's House, an extraordinary home for ordinary house cats, a feline fantasy land created by artists Bob Walker and Francis Mooney.
One day we realized that, we all go off to school or work every day, leaving the house to the cats, so that if possession's 9/10 of the law, it's really their house.
What started with a simple scratching post in 1988 has become a spectacular kitty playland.
We figured we at least ought to consider their needs and make it wonderful for them and do everything possible for them.
If you know cats, you know that given a choice, they would rather go up and over something than walk across the floor, which may be a third the distance.
It's a survival mechanism that allows them to see predators and prey beneath them. But 140 feet of elevated cat paths later, Bob and Francis said it wasn't enough. There were wall colors to contemplate.
They have a limited palette of colors that they see. So we figure by oversaturating the colors in the house that they have that little bit extra, a little bit more vivid life.
And kitty crevices were a must. Cats lack a true collarbone and like to squeeze their bodies through nearly any space they can get their heads through.
The first openings we had were mouse holes going into their cat's house up above. And the cat house even has a little red light in it there for them to give warmth and illumination. Then the next holes I did after that was creating a flame-shaped opening.
One thing leading to the next, we ended up saying, wow, where can we go now? And ooh, wouldn't it be cool to have red neon?
We wanted to be like, oh my gosh, they're going down the river Styx.
For Bob and Francis, money is no concern when it comes to their kitties.
We probably put $20,000 worth of improvements into the place and decreased the value by $50,000.
Now they're branching out and building cat environments for others. This is a shelter for the National Cat Protection Society in Spring Valley, California.
The walls will all be like you're underwater and there will be waves overhead.
Here's your good side. This is going to be so cool.
Not all cats live in such playful surroundings. So how would an American Shorthair cat do at your house? For starters, grooming would not be an issue.
Their short coat doesn't mat, so they don't require a tremendous amount of combing.
They're one of the healthiest breeds around.
It's a great first-time cat for a cat owner.
And as house cats go, the American Shorthair is great with other pets and has the right temperament for a busy family. In general, the American Shorthair is healthy and will live 15 to 20 years. They require virtually no grooming and make a great pet for a family with children and other animals.
They make a great cat for anybody who loves your average cat that's social, friendly, outgoing, and just wants to be a part of your life.